Larry, I can see your slides, and we've got both our presenters here, so let's get started. My name is Kate Guaz. I'm the Marketing Partner Specialist at WordStream, and I'm just here to get you guys started and to hand you off to the real content. Today's webinar is titled Hacking Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You've got more than 8 hacks to help you make money in paid social ads, and this webinar is brought to you by WordStream and AimClear. WordStream's got software and services to help you with all of your paid search advertising, as well as tons of free online resources like this, PPC University. It's our online free university for you to get anything you need to learn how to be a great digital marketer in AdWords or Bing, from beginners to advanced. And you can view all of that at wordstream.com/learn. And AimClear is an amazing digital marketing agency based out of Minnesota. I actually was introduced to them at a conference. I heard Marty speak on similar content as you'll hear today, and it just blew me away. So I'm very excited to have him here and sharing those resources with you guys as well. I do want to let you know this webinar is being recorded, and we will send out the slides shortly after the live event. You can also ask any questions for the presenters. There's a question tab in your control box that you can send those in at any time. I'll be monitoring that, and I'll keep track of them for the end. You can also talk with us on Twitter. So use the hashtag #SocialHacks. You can tweet directly to Marty or Larry or WordStream or AimClear, and we'll have a monitor on there responding to any questions, sharing some slides. You can share some awesome hacks and takeaways that you get there as well. And then I would love to start with a quick poll before we hand you off to the presenters. And maybe, Larry, you could ask our audience this question.
Awesome. Thanks, Kate, and welcome, Marty. And yeah, we have a poll question for our audience today. Just try to get a sense for where you're at in terms of your paid social ads efforts. Are you currently advertising on like YouTube or Twitter or Facebook in terms of social ads? Yes or no. But if it's no, we'd love to know why. Is it that you've tried it before, or that you plan to, or that it just hasn't occurred to you yet? Please lock in your votes. And Kate will kind of narrate.
It looks like almost 70% have voted, and almost half of you guys are already running paid social ads, and another third are planning on it. So I think you're here to get some tips to get started. So I'm going to show everybody those results. You guys can see where you fall in. About almost the majority are yes or planning to. Okay, and then Larry, if you want to introduce yourself and Marty, that would be great.
Sure. WordStreamers, I know there's a lot of you guys on the call today. I wanted to introduce you to a friend and colleague, Marty Weintraub. I met him in 2009 first at a conference, and I too was kind of blown away with what he had to say. I think he's probably one of the most kind of authoritative figures in terms of knowledge, deep knowledge in terms of social ads. It's definitely where I go to learn about social ads. So it's really great for us to have him on the line today. Marty, welcome.
Thank you very much, Larry. I would note that we have the #1 and the #2 most influential pay-per-click professionals in the world here today, and you would be #1, mister.
Give me here a break. He always bugs me about that. WordStreamer, it's me, Larry, and thanks for joining us today, and welcome all AimClear guests as well. Great agenda today. Marty's going to walk us through some of like the common misconceptions and myths around social ads, and also talk a little bit about some cool, ridiculously powerful ways that you can use Facebook ads to make a ton of money on social. And then I'm going to be talking in the later half about Twitter and YouTube ads. All right, so Marty, since you have so many slides, I'm going to just make you the presenter because know.
800 slides in 22 minutes. No,
All right, Marty, you're the presenter now, so you can go ahead and share your screen.
I'll take it very much. You should be able to see my screen right now, and I'm flipping into slideshow mode. Don't you just love webinars? Dude, baby. Okay, well, with that, I just want to thank my friend and colleague, Larry Kim. The reality is that we all go to Larry Kim when it comes to an authority on search, pay-per-click, and other forms of paid advertising. He's my go-to source too, and it is a pleasure to finally be on the same podium as you, Larry, be it virtual. It's just awesome to do something like this with you, so thank you for the invitation.
Awesome.
So at the end of the day, when it comes to social media and paid social media, whatever, I like butterfly and granolas and kisses and conversation, all that's just tons. But you guys are marketers. Your job is to sell things. Raise your hand if it is not your job to send somebody a bucket of money at the end of the day. Whether you're B2B, B2C, you have to sell stuff. That is just the reality. Revenue is what we are here for. We're here to make money with social media. That's right, money. I like to rub it all over my body late at night. No, not really. Well, maybe. Is there somebody from Human Resources here? I don't feel comfortable. Yeah, we all know social media is massively important. Everybody kind of knows it's important, but a lot of people don't know why. And a lot of people have some pretty confusing views about why it is important. So Larry asked me to speak in specificity to exactly what those myths are. And we're going to debunk them. And then if you're going to say the wrong perceptions of social media that some people have, then we should talk about the right things. So let's talk about popular misconceptions, myths, falsehood, flat-out lies, cover-your-ass propaganda, and then let's talk about what social is very good for, and then Larry will get into more specifics about paid advertising. So let's delve into it. These are the drum roll, classic social myths. Classic social myths. First one, look, putting up a Facebook profile, building out your YouTube page, making content for your blog, tweeting, there is no guarantee that anybody will ever see that stuff. It is a myth. If you build it, they will not just come. Sometimes, even if the content is pure genius, you have to promote it. Most of the time these days, you have to promote it with money. It is a myth. There is an old adage in search, look, you're not going to rank for the keyword Las Vegas Hotel for your new blog spot. It's like that with Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc. Some people think that social is not good for B2B. I say, awesome. That leaves more Facebook, Twitter for me. Obviously, LinkedIn is important for business, but you know what? Facebook is pretty badass too. Like there's more people and they are the same people. There's a rich constellation. We've sold dental adhesive to orthodontists, groups, couplings to people that make Olympic stadiums. The list goes on and on and on. Social is amazing for B2B. If you're not blending rakes, if you're not an Old Spice person, if you're not breaking the server with a hovercraft on a golf course, then somehow you're not cool. That is not the case. In reality, social media success are home runs in slow motion, content programs that are amplified every day, clean-cut objectives that are realistic. You're not looking for blending your iPhone or a rake. You're looking for daily wins that amplify content that adds up. Listen, I can stand outside of the local mall and say, I'll give you 20 bucks if you like my Facebook page, which isn't very far off from quite a bit of the paid and organic activities that some marketers undertake. You can have communities that are total bullshit. Quantity doesn't impress me about communities. Even having a community doesn't matter. You know what? Facebook ads lets you turn the targeting UI on just your community. Why don't you turn your Facebook ads to look at just your followers and do some targeting that matters to you and see if anybody really matters? Listen, social media, it's not free. There's no way. If you post something on your Facebook wall at scale, you're talking a few percentage points at best of people that see it. It's like SEO. Search engine optimization, not free. I cost more than ads do to do SEO. Social media is not free. Listen, I know Justin Bieber tweeting about whatever, like there's whole rules about who can do tweets that are sponsored and what you have to disclose, and it's different in different jurisdictions, etc. Twitter, listen, at base, Twitter is a communications channel. I've had people just reach out to AimClear with Twitter because they didn't know another way to easily contact us. After that, it's about regular people doing regular things. Twitter's not just for celebrities. Listen, it's not how big it is, it's what you know how to do with it, so to speak. Where's that human resources person? It's not about follower count. In 2008, I spoke to one of the first social media sessions at Search Engine Strategies New York, to a room that held 300 people, and there were 12 people in the room. And the title of my presentation was The Impending Social Pay-Per-Click Revolution. And all the SEOs, the old guard, were outside laughing because it was 1:45. It was at the end of the day. And I told that group, look, you are not many, but you are mighty. You are the right people in this room, the ones that matter to my outcome, the goal here. So you will go forward as evangelical seeds. It's not about follower count. Blogs. If you blog, the heavens will open up. God will bestow light, and you will be seen and found, and you will convert. And that's a bunch of bullshit. You could blog to nobody. Trust me, I've done it. We've all done it. We've all blogged to nobody. Listen, blogs, that just basically means publishing content on a recurrent basis. And when you say blog, that refers to a style of content management system. Blogs are only as cool as the content. Crap in, crap out. Others say blogging is stupid. We have to register this domain, Larry, if it's still available, dumbassblog.com. Somebody go register that domain and do something fun. Blogging is not a waste of time. It's a metaphor for consistently publishing relevant semantic content and amplifying it in social. You can't measure social? That's junk. It's totally junk. Even Google Analytics, which is, of course, amazing, has preset analytic measuring hooks in it. Back in the day when you really couldn't measure social at all, we asked questions like, well, out of the leads we're generating or the sales we're making, how many of them touched social or referred in from social at some time? Now we have more detailed attribution as an industry, which is finally amazing, and tag management and such. And it is true that there is dark social, insidious or joyful, depending on your perspective, social that occurs in the back room that we cannot see and drastically affects things. The web analytics universe was not made for applications, that's for sure, but you definitely can measure social. This is one of my favorites. My customers aren't on social. They're old, young, black, white, Hispanic, green, from Mars. Well, there's no Martians on Facebook. You can't target Mars. I don't even know if there are Martians, but I digress. The point is that if you sit down and treat the Facebook ads UI as a global demographic, psychographic profiling tool, you will be stunned. There's a website called Social Bakers that's very cool to check out for profiling audiences. Listen, there's only one audience I have not been able to find on Facebook in the last 4 years. I haven't found a way to target parents of kids who are about to graduate from college. So if you have any ideas about that, that's the only Rubik's Cube. Or tweet out if there's any social segment you've ever aimed for that could not target, and I'll try to answer that while Larry is speaking if I can. It does not take a ton of content to exercise social. We've seen big brands, iconic brands, and small businesses alike choke on the spoon because they think, oh, I've got to have a big content strategy. Well, you have to have a content strategy, but it does not have to be big. It does not have to be a big content strategy. No, no, no. The definition of content is a dedicated URL on the Internet. Every tweet, every blog post, every YouTube video, every Pinterest post, every Google Plus post, they all have dedicated URLs. Listen, you can change the freaking world with a Facebook post. Don't tell the people who engineered the Arab Spring that they need a lot of content. One tweet can be like the butterfly wing that creates a monsoon on the other side of the world. What's important is knowing what you're trying to say to who. Oh, yeah. Mr. Content is different than Ms. Social, or Ms. Content is different than Mr. Social. They're two different strategies. We need to retool our departments, and the social stakeholders need to live in the same world as the content marketers, because the reality is that if you post something on your blog, it's going to have fairly limited SEO exposure compared to the psychographic audiences that could see that content. And if you put it on your social wall, it's going to have a very limited flight. Even if you achieve some distribution, if you're a major brand and have millions of people, people will see it, but not nearly as many. The reality is that content and social are peanut butter and chocolate, because without distribution, without social distribution, there is no content, basically. So really important to align them. Search for Twitter minutes a day, or Facebook minutes a day, or LinkedIn minutes a day. Lots of people are offering regimes of social behavior that could get results, and they're on the right track. Every day I spend about a half hour on LinkedIn. I know my friend Larry takes a train ride in from his home in the suburbs to his office in Boston, or Cambridge. You're in the Boston area. I know that that's your time, or one of your times. What's important with social is knowing the most important behaviors to undertake and then doing them all the time. Yep, you know what? The best way to not get people to hate you in social is to not run a shitty business. Like, if you have a bad business, you might not want to do social. If you have a bad business and you're in social, fix your business. It's not about the count of networks that you belong to, not at all. It's not about being in every single network in the world. It's about being in the right ones. You know, if you're the apple picker and you make an apple picking thing, then you might want to be in the apple pickers forum. There's one forum called Dental Town that the major dental manufacturers and suppliers and stuff deal in. That's very important. If you're not there, you're not anywhere. Google Plus is stupid. Google Plus is not stupid. If you plus my stuff, then your friends see my SEO. That's a little bit oversimplified, but it's definitely a signal for Google. Danny Sullivan said you have to be insane not to play on Google Plus. Social is just about baking cupcakes and sharing and butterflies and granola and pictures of my children. Unless you're a mortgage company where you're just manning the wall to keep people from going to pissed off consumer or Better Business Bureau, social is not just about fluffy shit. Sometimes it's just to avoid larger issues. Sometimes it's about customer support. You know, Martha Stewart can talk about lacing doilies and baking cupcakes at Christmas time. The insurance provider is going to keep people from being pissed off. Listen, social media is possible in any regulatory environment. You just give your people on the wall a list of things they could say and direct them to legal resources. You know, you're not violating any HIPAA laws by talking about the new construction of your hospital and many, many, many more realities. First thing you do when you get on LinkedIn is try to sell them shit. Yep, that's what you do. See a guy there? This is somebody who wrote me in October. Hi, Marty. My name's Anna. I had a look at your profile. I was impressed. Oh, good. I'm so happy. I think it would be, quote, mutually beneficial. I'm a project manager. We make animated videos in case you'd like to explain your business. All my potential clients need to do is click to play. We've done a lot of videos. I'd love to contact you and start helping you expand your client base, blah, blah, blah. I wrote her a note. I'm working on an AimClear blog post about people who do cold sales call, mining lists. I'm going to call you out and flame you. I don't think that me joining a group means I want cold sales calls from you, dumbass, and I don't think most people on LinkedIn think that too. You're prospecting group members. You don't know me. Mutually beneficial for us to network means you're trying to sell me shit. Take me away from your marketing efforts, and please be a better citizen. Right, Anna Berry's profile isn't on LinkedIn anymore from the backlash that occurred from me showing the slides at a few different conferences. Yeah, she's all gone. Sorry, Anna. You're not going to get to use LinkedIn that way. Sorry. Sorry. AimClear works with a number of global clients. I can assure you, as I'm up at 2 in the morning for a week dealing with Korea, that it is not 9 to 5. but it's not 9 to 5 in America either, or in English. YouTube called If This Then That to ring your phone if certain keywords are hit in the middle of the night. Reciprocally, you know, there's hardly ever any emergencies that you have to deal with right now. Social media is not just for discovery, it's for discovering other people and them discovering you. And it's really smart to schedule your posts. Not a bad idea. Don't use interns to manage social. That's just stupid. The higher up the food chain, the better. Social display is amazing. Social display advertising is amazing. If you post the same content over and over, it works better. Well, within reason. And paid wall amplification, great idea. It's not a waste of money. Otherwise, not that many people see your stuff. So there, we've debunked the major myths of social media. Yep, that's a cow's ass. It is. That's what I think of the social myths. Here's what social is good for. You could build intentional communities that are the right size of the right people that actually will feed and nourish from your content. You could use social to avoid people being really mad at you. Like, really prudent use of social will help that. Like, that's a Yelp review. What does it do for that restaurant to have it be about, I assume those are fish balls that we're talking about there. Social media is amazing for selling. Like, that's why you're here today, and I'll start the conversation about that by saying that social media is amazing for selling. This is Facebook targeting that filters segments by how much they spend. So assuming you have enough data, you can filter your Facebook ads by how people spend, or if they like to use credit cards and if they still have a credit card to use. Here's your Easter egg. I'm sure you've heard that expression, Easter egg. There's a target in Facebook. If you search for marketing under behaviors, there's 2.8 million people who search for business marketing services. So you're all marketers. So you could target people who work at a certain collection of companies and purchase business marketing services, or job titles, or interests, or whatever, rich people who own who work at small companies who purchase business marketing services. Social is amazing for customer support, either as a prophylactic or as being proactive. Crowdsourcing, like, want to know what features to build in your product or what people like or don't like about your product, or co-create. Like, Larry's being a genius here because he asked me and other people to do this webinar with them, co-creation and finding out things from other people's communities, promoting specific events. It's awesome for promoting events. Social is the most badass display advertising channel in the world. It's a huge part of the internet, and Facebook data is as good as any data or better in the whole world. It's really, really great data. And all over the world, large and small clients alike are peeling money out of display and putting it into social display, because the fact is you can inject people farther into the funnel. Watch for the emergence of in-social e-commerce and other direct sales. People do it. I know companies that have made their whole company that way. You can totally distribute to people who work at different media companies or thought leaders or high authority profile holders in different channels. And you know what? Adjust your thinking about what an influencer is, because I know politicians that target people who work for the plumbers union, and those ladies and gents purchase flux for soldering and other things, and they purchase jackets so that they are warm when they're working outside. Don't underestimate the power of Facebook occupation targeting. Yep, anybody want to target the Secretary of Homeland Security or the Ambassador to Thailand? One thing we've done a lot over the years is to use Facebook for inbound PR, where we amplified feed content to an array of specific media roles. These are people, you know, if you like TypePad or video blogging or movable type and you work at Cars Direct, you're probably a blogger. That's the total blogger count, by the way, at the top, not the ones that work at cars.com. Want international publicity? How about people who like free premium WordPress themes? There's 146,000 bloggers. And if you start targeting bloggers and media people and influencers, Go look at AimClear's link profile. We never do link pitching ever. PR, talking to customers, media, it's people that work at your own company, very large companies, investors, community, if you're promoting your appearance at the United Way chili cook-off, or if the shit hits the fan and God forbid there's an emergency. You can target people in the media. It's important PR, news show hosts or anchors or disc jockey or correspondents for newspapers, producers, multimedia producers, et cetera, and you could go deep. Here's all those roles bucketed with broad category. There's your teacher bloggers right there. I know you'll have to take this presentation and look at it afterwards because I'm moving through. It's just so easy to go vertical with media roles and influencers and bloggers and such. And, you know, if you get links from amplifying your content, your profiles rank in Google. Social signals count for SEO. Google Plus is important, and if your shit goes high in Google, then you make more money. Right, profiles that you build rank highly in Google. You can manage your reputation with social proactively, and you can empower your whole sales team to use social in non-spammy ways to effectively network as individuals and as a team. If you are a thought leader, it's possible that not enough people know that you're a thought leader, so you can increase the perception of yourself as a thought leader. And certainly, in the old days, you went, well, how do I measure branding? I have no idea how to measure branding. Notice this is like the last freaking slide, or one of the last slides. If somebody likes your Facebook page, that is a quantifiable branding action. And of course, social is really great for distributing your content. Common barriers to entry in social is there's not enough people to do it in your organization. It's not like parting the Red Sea, but still somebody has to do it. It's very confusing in terms of whether you're working with your personal profile or your corporate profile or who owns it when you leave. Like please follow me. I just gave my corporate profile for AimClear to AimClear, and I think I have like 6 Twitter followers now from having a lot. There's not always an obvious way to see how you earn money. You can measure it, but you have to know what you're looking for. And it takes some understanding to know how to place it in a truly integrated and holistic strategy. And even though you can get around regulated environments, we still need to do with internal and external and governmental and regional jurisdiction compliance issues. And as always, what the hell do I do first, Marty? What the hell do I do first? So, thank you, and with that, I'm really looking forward to hearing my friend Larry Kim do the rest of this amazing deck that you have not seen yet. So with that, I will pass the torch to Larry.
All right, Larry, you are the presenter now. We can see your screen. And I just wanted to say, Marty, we have got some great chats going on over on Twitter, and you are cracking everybody up. So good job, very entertaining. We're loving it. And excited to hear more of this from you, Larry.
I'm just trying to load this thing here, sorry. Well, I don't think I've ever seen that much information in so little time.
I think we went through a total of 90 slides in about 30 minutes, which is pretty impressive.
It was actually 24 minutes.
It's amazing.
Very nice.
So guys, look, I think Marty did a fantastic job of showcasing kind of like the high level, the myths and things like this, and even a lot of specific examples of how to use Twitter. In my part of the presentation, I wanted to go a little bit more tactical, talking about specifically some other social options like Twitter and YouTube, and just going a little deeper into the specifics of those ad networks, starting with Twitter ads. And the neat thing about Twitter ads is that it's pretty simple. Like there's not a ton that you need to know. I can actually explain everything you need to know about Twitter ads in 7 minutes. So what you need to know is that there are different types of campaigns, and the neat thing about this is that you only pay based on the objective. So if it's like an app install, you only pay when people install your ads, or if it's a follower campaign, you only pay when you get a follower, etc. Same thing with promoted tweets. It's whenever people engage with your things. That's pretty interesting. I like that it's not just it's not just CPM based. They're actually trying to make a good effort to give you value here, as opposed to say like stupid LinkedIn. Anyways, the different ad formats, they're pretty similar. Promoted tweets. Basically, it's just like a tweet. It's just that Twitter is just so noisy. It's just this one is these tweets are a little bit more sticky, and then they show up actually. Follower campaigns, same idea. Just the call to action is to follow that person. App installs, same idea. It shows up on mobile, and when it has an install button. And new this month was released just a few weeks ago. I think last week, the video ads came out of beta. They've been around in beta for a few months, and now you can upload videos to YouTube and show those in your tweets, and that's really awesome. The targeting options are pretty simple. The basic targeting options involve like specifying locations and followers and interests. So like I'm looking for WordStream sells to small businesses, so I'm going to target people who follow Inc. or Entrepreneur Magazine because maybe they might have something to do with my business. They also have about a couple hundred interest categories, in terms of like small business interests or whatever, and you can just browse those categories. It's not nearly as sophisticated as Facebook in terms of the targeting options, but that's kind of the gist of it. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some hacks. So that's the basics. Like how can you kind of like trick the system into like showing your ads more and not having to pay very much for that. And so my first hack here has to do with tweeting more often. So like here's just a snapshot of Twitter analytics for my own account. It's 2.6 million impressions over the last month, and what you need to do, one of the first things that I tested was just like, what if I just tweeted like a few times more a day rather than like having days where I don't tweet anything, and so that was really transformational in terms of like the account. It doesn't cost you any extra media dollars. Like you can just tweet a few extra times per day, and you'll definitely get more engagement and visibility for your Twitter. It doesn't cost you more media dollars, and as I'll explain to you in just a second, it will actually help your paid efforts be more successful. More on that in just a second. Now, how can you tell if you're tweeting too much? Well, I would be looking at two different metrics here. One has to do with your follower count, and the other has to do with your engagement rates. So just keep a close eye on those two numbers. Like if you're being too annoying, you would expect this, to lose followers or to gain followers less quickly. Similarly, if people are kind of annoyed with your stuff, they're going to start tuning you out, and you're going to see kind of a decrease in engagement rate. So you need to make sure that those numbers are kind of steady and improving as opposed to in decline. Here that brings me to my second Twitter hack, ads hack. The first one it was free. You just quote unquote free. You just tweet more. The second one has to do with leveraging the power of quality score. If you guys know me from AdWords stuff, PPC stuff, you'll know that I'm a little crazy about the quality score, and one reason why I love Twitter so much as opposed to say like LinkedIn is because of the quality score metric in Twitter is just so freaking powerful. So here's an actual snapshot from my my Twitter campaigns here, and just look at the right-hand side of the screen here where it says cost per engagement. That's like for retweets or likes and favorites and comments. If you can get your engagement rate up to like 68.47%, then you're paying 1 penny per engagement. Similarly, if you can get to 36%, you're paying 2 cents for those engagements. 20%, then it's 3 cents. 7% engagement rate costs around 8 cents. So like the rule of thumb here is that the higher your engagement rate, the lower the cost per engagement. Obviously, that makes sense because Twitter wants to show kind of like the tweets that are going to be very engaging as opposed to stuff that's annoying because it's going to show up in your timeline. I did some research earlier this month on trying to kind of reverse engineer Twitter's secret quality score that they don't talk about anywhere. Like if you go Google their site, they don't talk about this at all. It's kind of just an algorithm of how their ad system works. And basically, what you can see here is, it's not an extensive survey, but just looking at a dozen or so data points, you can see there's a correlation between the engagement rate and the discount off of like what you actually bid. Say you bid like $2 versus what you actually pay. You end up paying like 5 cents or 2 cents. Has everything to do with engagement rates, which brings me back to how do you how do you find these tweets? How do you know what to tweet that's going to get like a 30, 40, or 50% engagement rate? Well, remember my first hack was to tweet more often? Well, the really neat thing about that is that you're going to have all these tweets, and you can export the data. So you can export in Twitter Analytics, you can export this data, and you'll get a spreadsheet full of like how many impressions, how many retweets, like how many likes, how many favorites did every tweet go. And then if you just sort them by kind of like tweets that got high engagement rates or high retweet ratios or high link click ratios, those are the posts that you should be promoting, because they're going to be, you're going to get, engagement, for dirt cheap, like 1 penny or 2 pennies per engagement, and so that's how those two kind of fit together. My third hack on Twitter has to do with leveraging the power of their kind of more advanced targeting options. So here's the Twitter Audience Manager, and then what you need to know is you can create custom tailored lists, and then there's a couple ways of doing this. You can upload phone numbers or emails, so just uploading them into Twitter and then creating a list and marketing to those people. You can also do a remarketing code on your visitor on your website. So why the heck would this matter? Well, it has to do with engagement, right? Like the people who are going to be most likely to engage with your content are the people who've engaged with your content recently. And so, like, if you really want to boost those engagement numbers, you should be using remarketing or custom lists. Similarly, Marty, I talked quite a bit about using the power of Facebook for PR. Well, journalists also hang out on Twitter too, and so what I've done here is I've created an influencer list. It's 1,660 journalists and super influential people. Marty, you're actually on this list. And basically what I do is when I have a store card targeted to that super influential people list, right? So true story. This is a blog post that I posted in September 19th. It was like 5 p.m. on a Friday, like totally dead news cycle, in terms of like the worst possible time to post, a story. But I posted at 5 p.m. on Friday, something to do with like a new change in Google Plus. And then I shared it and promoted this content on my Twitter. Within 2 hours of having done that, the article then appeared on Marketing Land. So look in the highlighted thing. It says this change brought to our attention by Larry Kim of WordStream blog, and so I just got a free link from this. And what's so powerful about this is that it kind of triggered this domino effect. So on Friday, I get my story picked up by Marketing Land. Saturday, it shows up in Gizmodo and VentureBeat and Engadget and Register. And by Monday, when all these journalists get back to the work, they see all this stuff from Friday and Saturday, and they all write about it in CNET and Lifehacker and Fast Company. And so I ended up getting something like 500 press pickups from this just by spending about maybe $15 on Twitter ads. So that's a lot of leverage in terms of like coverage and being able to get tons of press coverage with a very minimal spend. So just to summarize, in terms of the awesome power of custom audiences, it has to do with using these remarketing lists. Why? Because those people are going to, they've been to your site recently. Of course, they're going to be more likely to engage with your content, to retweet your stuff. That means that'll drive down the cost of your advertising. And these custom lists, they're not all people are the same in terms of their influence, and then you can just create your own custom lists of people to market to, and then those influential people are worth infinitely more than random people. The last hack I have for Twitter has to do with leveraging this notion of cards for lead generation. Here's one I just did just this weekend. It had to do with promoting this webinar. Maybe you register from this webinar by seeing this card on Twitter. The neat thing about this is that you don't have to fill out any information. Like, you just click the register now, and then it's going to send your email address and first and last name to me, and I can download that information. And that's a lot easier for people to do on mobile, because most of Twitter is done on mobile. I just want to talk a little bit about the flywheel effect. So this notion that paid promotion on Twitter will actually increase organic engagement. And here's a really great example. Generally what you see, so the blue stuff, it has to do with organic impressions, and those yellow bars on top of it, those are paid impressions. And so generally what you see when you tweet something, you get a spike of impressions, and it really dies off rather quickly. In this case, I had an organic tweet that was doing reasonably well. I decided to spend $50 to promote it, and what it did was it created a crap ton of paid engagement, which also made the lifetime of the organic tweet last longer, because when you get a paid retweet, then you get free visibility for that tweet to those people's followers. So I call this the flywheel effect, how paid promotion can actually increase the organic engagement. I think that's very interesting. So just a couple key takeaways here. I'm not going to read them all. Main takeaway: higher engagement rates, lower cost per engagement, and vice versa. And think about all those tips that we're talking about. Now on to YouTube ads. Now YouTube is just like amazing. It's like it gets no respect. If it was a search engine, it would be larger. It would be the second largest search engine in the world, with like billions of views every day, with like 6 billion hours of video viewing every month, and so it's a really powerful like SEO kind of search engine thing that gets no respect. And the ad format that you need to know about here is called the TrueView ad. It's a very interesting ad. It's a permission-based ad. So like, I'm sure you've all seen this. Here's an example. I was searching on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because that's something that I'm very interested in, it targeted me with some ads for Venice because I was recently planning a trip there, and you have the ability to, so they're doing remarketing there. You have the ability to skip the ad. The neat thing about the TrueView ad is you only pay if people watch beyond like the 5 seconds. If people skip the ad, then you pay nothing. That's very transformational. So my number one advice and hack for YouTube ads is to really understand all the different crazy ways you can target these YouTube ads. I'm not going to go through all of them, but just a couple ideas here. One of them is to use remarketing. So that's what that travel company was doing. It was reaching me that I visited their website in the past, and now they're showing up in my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle video, at the front of that. So you can target based on website retargeting or people who've recently visited your YouTube channel. That's pretty interesting. Of course, there's topics, demographics. Another interesting one has to do with placements. So like, maybe you want to show up as an ad in front of your competitors' videos. You can do that, or maybe like it's a partner, like a Moz or something. They've got that Whiteboard Friday thing. You could actually show up in front of every one of those videos if they were hosted on YouTube. So just knowing these insanely powerful targeting options, very powerful. My second hack for YouTube ads here has to do with testing going long form. So a typical TV ad is 30 seconds. Why? Because that's like the format it's been forever. There's like 4 commercials for 30 seconds equals 2 minutes. Like that's just the way that's been done. This is a different ad format. Like it's permissions based. Like they're watching your ad because they want to watch it. Otherwise they would have skipped it, right? So when you look at like the leaderboard for YouTube ads, the average ad is around 3 minutes. So try out long form in terms of trying to convey a longer message, and you might be surprised to see that people are willing to stick around for 2, 3, 4 minutes to learn about your product, and these are like 30, 40, 50 cent views, which is I think a bargain. My third and most powerful YouTube advertising hack has to do with leveraging the power of YouTube video promotion to increase organic visibility. Now remember, think of YouTube as a search engine. Remember those billions of searches every day? So how does YouTube rank all those different videos? There's so many of them, on YouTube. How does it rank them? Well, it ranks them primarily by engagement metrics, such as how many subscribers do you have to your channel, or how many likes did you get for that video, or how many positive comments did you get, or how many views did you get? Well, the really cool thing about YouTube ads is you're basically paying to buy the engagement that will allow your videos to rank organically, and this is very powerful. You end up getting like much more in the long term from these views that are organic. So that's basically all I had to share on mastering the art of YouTube and Twitter ads. Kate, do you want to talk a little bit about offers from our respective companies?
I would love to. So Larry and Marty talked a lot about social paid advertising, and YouTube, if it was a search engine, would be the second largest search engine in the world. So what you do know is WordStream's here to help you with your paid search ads on AdWords and Bing. So if you are doing paid advertising, and you want to benchmark your success or find opportunities for improvement, we have 2 free tools called the AdWords Performance Grader and the Landing Page Grader, and it'll take 60 seconds to scan your campaigns, and it'll spit back a really detailed report for you, giving you some exciting insight that you didn't have before and you can't get anywhere else. So we've evaluated like 50,000 AdWords accounts at this point, so it's a lot of data you're being compared to. So you can do that on your own at those URLs, or you can do that with a WordStream Google certified or AdWords certified representative, and they'll actually help audit your account on the phone with you. So that would be the first offer, and the second offer is a demo of our WordStream Advisor, which is the tool for you to help automate and streamline your AdWords campaigns. So I'm going to launch a quick poll if you'd like either or both of those offers. You can also let me know if you don't need help with any of your paid search advertising at this time. And I'm going to keep that open for a minute. And I'd love, Marty, if you could just share a little bit about your guys' somewhat new tool, ReachRocket, and just tell me a little more about that.
Right. If you head to www.reachrocket, R-E-A-C-H-R-O-C-K-E-T, ReachRocket. ReachRocket is a pretty cool tool because it's one button, psychographic, page post boost amplification. You know that dumbass boost post button on your company's Facebook page where the targeting is idiotic and it doesn't do a very good job? We built out a targeting appliance where our consultants, who have been doing psychographic targeting to the stars for years and years, do the same audience profile for you that we do for the big companies. And ReachRocket is in 8 countries and iconic brands are using it already. Anyhow, the way it works is we install the targeting into ReachRocket. You put something on your Facebook wall, you select that post in ReachRocket, and then push the audience button, and it builds out all the ads for you. It's relatively inexpensive. It is whereas Aim Clear, amplifying your posts programmatically every week could be a $50,000 to $70,000 a year managed service. ReachRocket is a $385 installation and $179 a month. There's a limited amount of ReachRocket licenses available, and the special that we are offering is that you know about it and that you have access to it. ReachRocket is one button, do-it-yourself, psychographic, page post boost amplification with audiences that we help you create. The real value here is that we will help you define your audiences, and then you won't need to do production, and it costs a fraction of what a large agency costs. ReachRocket.com.
Awesome. I put that link in the chat box for everybody. And if you do have any more questions about ReachRocket, you can email marketingteam@wordstream.com. You can reach out to Marty or Larry or anybody, and we'll get you that information. And I think that was great that you talked about that, Marty, because we got a lot of questions about setting up audiences. In Facebook, I think it's a little bit of a confusing experience. But for those who will continue not using ReachRocket on their own, trying to set up audiences in Facebook, can you tell us a little more about that? Is there a minimum, and how would you go about identifying those influencers? Just tell me more about that.
If you're asking me that question?
That's for you, Marty. Yeah.
Please state the question a little differently.
More succinct? Okay. I was just hoping you could tell us a little more about setting up the audiences in Facebook.
Okay.
Yep.
Facebook is super cool. Essentially, you're creating a grid between each of the buckets inside of Facebook: interest, behavior, age, gender, preference. They all use the AND operator. So you're targeting people who are female and are 24 years old. So you should really pay attention to the grid, like the tau between behaviors, which are presets, and interests, which are presets and fluid, dynamic. There's many non-preset interests. Like, the secret of Facebook targeting is understanding what you could get out of what targeting parameter. Like, for instance, in the more demographic bucket, you can target people's income. In the behaviors bucket, you can target credit card usage. So in the more demographics bucket, you could target people who are job titles. And in the interest bucket, you could target job titles. There's different ways to get at different variables inside of Facebook. And so the secret to Facebook targeting is understanding which piece of the targeting comes from which variable. Just keep in mind that between the major sections of Facebook, it's the AND operator, age and interest and behavior. So it has to be all the combinations. As a rule, within each bucket, it's the OR operator. If you're targeting in the interest bucket, it's you like badminton or botany. And the only exception to that rule is the more demographics bucket. You should study the more demographics bucket because even though they're nested in a drop-down menu, they might as well be separate targeting elements. It's the AND operator between the elements in more demographics. It sounds a little confusing, but just remember that in the more demographics bucket where there's unbelievable power, you could just break all those out to their own boxes on the Facebook UI and treat them as individual targeting elements, and that will keep you safe.
Awesome. And Larry, we've got some questions about Twitter audiences, and I think you talked specifically about targeting people by their emails or maybe their phone numbers. Can you tell us about if I can pull a list with Twitter handles, or how did you make your list of influencers?
Well, it's actually very easy because Twitter is public. So if I know there's a journalist at the Wall Street Journal and I don't have his email, I can just get his Twitter handle by by searching him on Twitter and adding his specific name, like his @ name, to my list. And so I think in some ways that's like a really easy way because Twitter's so inherently public, whereas some people, I don't know why they like this privacy thing, and maybe they keep their Facebook IDs like kind of not visible, but that's not the case on Twitter.
Cool. That's a really perfect answer, really succinct. Now you guys both talked about kind of targeting really high-profile people, say on Facebook or on Twitter. But some of our audience is wondering, okay, well, to see these ads, they have to actually be logged in to Facebook or Twitter. Are you seeing success even targeting high-profile type people or jobs, even though that may be counterintuitive that they're not spending time on Facebook?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. Like, some of my favorite things are targeting people who like reading Inc. magazine and purchase biz marketing services. That's pretty cool. But how about if you target everyone who works with a major corporation, manager title, and purchases business marketing services? You could successfully target CEOs, CMOs, CTOs, presidents, vice presidents, and it's absolutely accurate data. Like, there's nobody you can't get to. You would be astonished. Like Larry told a story about the flywheel effect. I've been interviewed by major publications who saw a post that I have applied to the executive editor of the publication, like Facebook. And oh, here's another secret too. When, in Twitter targeting, they say you're targeting audiences that look like audiences that look like the followers of someone else. And someone else looks like their own followers. So sometimes it's cool to target extremely high-profile Twitter profiles with ads just in the state in which you believe they live or the city in which you believe they live to keep your costs down, only to get that ad through to that Twitter influencer. And we've proven that targeting the followers of Guy Kawasaki target Guy Kawasaki. Like, we just know that.
Hey, Kate, I would just add one thing, that both Twitter and Facebook are working on ways so that you can target ads to people when they're not on Twitter and Facebook. So like they're both building ad networks that
Thank
allow
God. Thank God.
that'll allow you to target those same demographics, but maybe when they're browsing CNN or the Weather Channel or whatever, just kind of like how you would use Google Display Network.
Cool.
It's in beta stuff, and I would expect it to come out later this year.
That's really exciting. I think everyone here is excited about that. I had a couple people actually ask if there's a book they can read for more information on Facebook advertising. So, Marty, could you tell us a little bit about your book?
Well, I wrote a book in 2011 called Killer Facebook Ads, and chapter 5, 6, 7, 2, and 3 are still seriously relevant. Even though the machines have changed a lot inside of Facebook, the fundamentals of how you think about psychographic targeting has not. Also, if you search for Marty Weintraub author, I wrote a second Wiley book in 2013 about social media community manager that updates quite a bit of it and speaks to strategy and tactics and KPIs. Like, just remember as you seek your books, though, that I'm not a Facebook that does marketing. I'm a marketer that uses Facebook. And most of the questions you need to ask are about fundamental marketing questions and not the secret tricks and tips inside the channels. It's the marketing, stupid, right?
Great. Thank you for telling us about that. I had another interesting question that I think applies to both of you. I know, Marty, at some point you switched over your personal Twitter account and combined it with the AimClear Twitter handle. Is that correct?
I just gave it to AimClear.
Gave it over. So we have some business owners who are wondering what is the separation, or is there a separation between personal and professional Twitter and Facebook and all social media profiles. I know Larry has his own account, Larry Kim. WordStream has @WordStream, and they're managed differently. Could you guys both speak to your strategies for having your, either not or having a personal branded social profile?
That's an amazing question. It goes to ownership, right? So if @AimClear is my personal Twitter profile, what happens if I get run over by a beer truck or something? Or if someday I retire? Like, we're working to build a 50-year agency and not have it be Marty Weintraub's one-person business. We have like dozens of employees, so it's not like that. And reciprocally, if you're a business and you have somebody come in and they're your community manager and it's at that person, or if you're the sole proprietor of that business, like, what if that person leaves with everything that you invested in, every conference you sent them to, every networking event you sent them to? So it really comes down to ownership. What I like is when the company has their own profile, but they say who is on duty. Look at @Delta Assist. @Delta Assist. It's a corporate profile, but they show who's on duty at the time. It goes to ownership. Great businesses let their employees build their personal profiles, but you have to have that sacred corporate profile as well. Larry?
Yes, just one advantage that the personal profiles have over the company profiles is that they get higher engagement. So typically, if you just take a random company profile versus like a random person profile at the same company, you'll find that the engagement for the exact same tweet would be like 3 to 5 times higher on the person account rather than the corporate account. And so if you remember in my presentation, I was talking a lot about how engagement rates really you live and die by your engagement rates in terms of your cost per engagements. It's triple or 5 times the engagement rate could lead to like substantially lower costs and better reach and better ROI for the personal ones. So like that's kind of why I do run a lot of offers out of my personal account, but I also happen to be the owner of like the biggest shareholder of this company. So so it's I don't feel as it's a slightly different situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, makes sense.
I like that we've got both sides of the answer there, and I think it's a really good place to end end strong. So we've had a ton of information. I know we still have questions about getting a recording. I will send that email out hopefully this afternoon with the slides, the recording, the link to Reach Rocket and these other resources we told you about. And if you have any questions, reach out to us on Twitter, on email. That's it for me. Any last words, Larry or Marty?
Just thanks, Marty. It's great to have you here. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Larry. I sent our social media director to get this webinar because you had tidbits in there that were news to me. So freaking awesome, man. Thank you.
Great.
All right. Have a good day, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Thanks.